All right, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to this reading for the new moon eclipse in Aquarius that we're having on the 17th of February. It's going to happen exactly at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here, so as always, take that into consideration when you're trying to figure out, the time differential, what time it's going to happen around your area and where you are. And as always, where is this moon affecting your birth chart? Right? Where do you have 17 degrees of Aquarius in your chart? And you'll know a little bit more about how it's going to affect you personally rather than on a collective level. I will say that there's not much going on. So that's why I'm kind of pulling out my cards as I'm talking about this new moon eclipse. And what I mean by there's not much going on, I mean technically there's not much going on as far as aspects go. But I've been saying this for so long now. We're coming up on that Saturn-Neptune conjunction on the 20th. This is an eclipse. Solar eclipse moon, okay? So, yeah. So while there's only a few major aspects, they're very strong major aspects, okay? I've already talked enough about that Saturn-Neptune conjunction. I did a whole video on it. If you want to check it out, I will try to remember to link it to this video. I always forget. If I do forget, it is in the playlist of, I believe I titled it Major Astrological Events. I think there's only like 2 videos in that playlist, but yeah. So I won't talk about that. I just need you to know that we're leading up. Everyone's leading up to very, very massive changes. Then you got this new moon eclipse. The new moon right before that massive conjunction with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. Okay? Again, I talked about enough, so I'll shut up about that. But this new moon is squaring over to Uranus. And at the same time, you've got a trine with Mercury and Venus making a trine over to Jupiter. Okay? Because Mercury and Venus are still technically conjunct. It's a kind of a big conjunction, but they are conjunct. When I say that some random unexpected stuff could come up, I mean it with this eclipse. You will not expect what will happen, okay? You won't even see it. It's going to completely come out of left field. You will be so dumbfounded that you're going to be questioning your life like that crazy. And I know. There's the possibility of that happening with this new moon. Straight up. There's also the possibility of a change that might feel so uncomfortable that puts you in a weird position. But it is necessary for your growth, okay? It is necessary for your progression. It is necessary for your evolution. It is necessary for a better, higher understanding of your soul's journey, your life, just everything as a whole, everything as a collective, everything as you, everything in your personal world, okay? So I won't be surprised if on this day a big thing happens in the collective, and I won't be surprised if on the 20th a big thing happens as a collective. I really won't. We are going through a lot of crap as a world. We are. We always are. Let's be honest. But it's been a little bit weird. It's been like, so just, it doesn't make sense. And that's why it's Aquarius, right? That's why this is a Neptune and Saturn conjunction, because Saturn makes sense. Neptune does not, right? Saturn is the real, the raw, the here, the realistic, the restrictions, the limitations, life, real life. Neptune is the spiritual, the confusing, the misunderstandings. Neptune is the other realm, the other side, the other dimensions. So when you have those two coming together, and then you have a new moon Aquarius, and Aquarius being let me go all the way out there so that I can come back and show you what I've given you, what I've seen, what I've experienced, so that you can get a different understanding, so that you can get a complete 180 on what's going on. You put all that energy together, right? And put that on Mercury, our mind, our thoughts, our communication, and Venus, our relationships and our money, then what do you get? You get people's worlds going completely upside down, or you get people's worlds shaking the foundations that need to be rebuilt, or the foundations that you need to see the cracks. This is about seeing the cracks in the foundations in your life and knowing, can I patch that up? Is that fixable, right? Can I do something about it? Maybe that's a little bit out there. Maybe that's a little bit different that I've done in the past. Or does it need to be completely destroyed? Do I need to remove it with the flood of 1,000 tears? Like that kind of crazy, out there, emotional energy. I tried to sit here and I stared at this chart for a while. But the story that it gives us is, if you take things personally, if you get triggered easily, if you don't have your shit together emotionally and mentally, you're going to go through some stuff. And guess what? Unfortunately, that's most of the world. That's most of us. That either has one of those problems or all of those problems. The people that have all those problems, then they're really going to struggle with this new moon. They're going to struggle with this whole week of energy that's leading up to this new moon. You have to know how to be firm-footed, right? You have to know how not to get too far ahead of yourself. You have to know how to also not limit yourself and shoot for that dream. Shoot for the stars. Shoot for the moon, okay? Don't hold yourself back. But you have to do it in the proper way, and you have to do it in a way that makes financial sense, one, and makes sense in general. Like do it with common sense. Does it make sense? For the next 12 years we're talking about. All right, these are big things. We're starting to see some stuff that's going to be effective for the next 12 years. And I'm saying that because of Neptune. The role of this new moon eclipse, solar eclipse, is for us to see how far can we go? Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. How far can we push ourselves? How far can life push us before we break? And if things break in our foundation, and if things break within us, what do we do about it, right? How do we handle it? Do we accept growing pains with grace? Do we accept it with gratitude, or do we take it personally? Do we get triggered, and do we just fuck off, and not take responsibility and not take accountability? Again, nothing is technically happening with this new moon in regards to Saturn and Neptune. There's no aspects to it. But Saturn and Neptune together are really getting damn close to that conjunction that they've been working on being conjunct for the last year and a half because of retrogrades and yada, 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 right? So also look at your life in the last year to a year and a half. How much has it changed in regards to the next 12 years? And this new moon is saying it's time, because it's a new moon, right? New intentions, new journeys, new beginnings, fresh starts for the month. But this is an eclipse. So you have to understand that this is not only a 2-week cycle or a 4-week cycle. This is a 6-month and a 12-month cycle because it's an eclipse. Eclipses bring massive changes to begin with. Then you got all of this big boss, big boy energy. 2 titans coming together, Saturn and Neptune, Kronos and Poseidon, right? Clashing, but also respecting each other and having a meeting of the minds. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about it because I had a whole video, but I just can't not. This is like one of the biggest things that's happened in a long time as far as astrology goes. So put this energy to good use. Please, please, please. This is good manifestation energy. If you keep a level head, right? A level head. Don't go crazy, because Aquarius can be the wonderful genius who, cures cancer. But Aquarius can also be the mad scientist that's experimenting on people and using them as guinea pigs. Aquarius can be the great thinker, right? That changes things for the community and does things for the better. But Aquarius can also be the town drunk that's always fucking up and always getting those DUIs. and going to jail and being crazy, slashing the ex-girlfriend's tires, you know? That's Aquarius. Can go two crazy ways. You got to figure out which way you can take that's the middle. Don't go too crazy, but don't hold yourself back too much. Okay, let's talk about the cards. Let's see if the cards agree. 10-10. We started that at 10-10. Oh, hold on, let me write that down before I forget. I will say also with that, because we will see weird synchronicities with this new moon eclipse. Okay? The solar eclipse is going to bring us like these crazy, like, you can't make this shit up kind of synchronicities. Choose your path, direction guardian. What did I say? Right? This is about choosing the right path. Magic guardian. Unlock the magic within. Choosing our path. What is our path? This could be also questioning our higher purpose, our higher understanding of our life. What do we want to be when we grow up? Right? Absolutely. Emotions. Evening stock. Balance. Chocolate flower. Yeah, so the cards are definitely reiterating what we said with the astrology, okay? I know a lot of people kind of skip over the chart reading to get to the tarot, and that's okay. So I'll try not to talk about it too much, but I do have a tendency to connect the two. This new moon eclipse definitely going to teach us how to balance our emotions. Absolutely. It's going to teach us when to be a little bit more mindful, when to be a little bit more articulate, when to let the head rather than the heart lead. Absolutely. But also knowing how to balance those two, right? Heart and mind coherence. This new moon eclipse is going to teach us how to know what's the most common sense way. What's the path that makes the most sense to choose? Okay? What tools, resources, assets, talents do we have at our disposal? What is our own personal magic that we can use and create that's within us, right? What are we naturally good at? What do we naturally want to be? What do we naturally want to see in the world? How do we want to show up in the world? Because Aquarius is very unique energy, right? It's eccentric. It's authentic. It's special. It's the special that we have within us. It's the different that we have within us. The part of us that we might not necessarily want to admit that is us, but it is us. And it cuts through the norm, right? It is not a follower. Aquarius is very much a leader, all right? It's the part of you that beats to your own drum. That's the part of you that might be seeking a new direction, that might be seeking a new path, that might be trying to show you the special magic. 8 of Bows. Oh, I had so many cards fall. Sorry, hold on. 8 of Bows coming up. So that's the 8 of Wands. I'm trying to figure out which ones I want from these. We have the Sun. I'm not going to take any other ones. From that, and the World. Yeah, that makes sense. Good choices there. Bottom of the deck, 4 of Stones. So, Hearth, Fire, and Protection. Again, it's about direction. The 8 of Wands is a directional card. All right? And it's directing towards the Sun and the world. How do you show up in the world? Who are you? When you look in the mirror, who are you? That's Aquarius. Am I proud of myself? Am I happy with myself? Do I accept myself? Aquarius is very much about acceptance. Aquarius is very much about this is me. This is who I am. I might not be, what's the word? Conforming. Whew, I've done a lot of readings today, so bear with me. I couldn't remember the word for a second. It's non-conformity. That's Aquarius. Not conforming to society, not conforming to even a past version of yourself, right? Because sometimes we want to blame other people, but sometimes we're trying to conform to the way that we've always been because that's the way that we've always been, and we don't know how to break out of our own comfort zone, right? We don't know how to expand and how to grow and how to be new people because it's just the same old, same old. It's familiarity, and we get too comfortable with familiarity. We get too complacent. Aquarius teaches us to stop being complacent, to know how to push ourselves out. Because this Four of Stones is telling me that this new moon is going to show us how to break free, how to break out, how to not hold ourselves in, right? This is a baby deer who feels protected where they are, but they know that it's time for them to get out there. It's time for you to get out there. That's what this new moon is saying, right? To show up, the sun, to show authenticity, to accept abundance, to accept success, to accept yourself. This is the self. The sun represents the self, right? Your life force energy, your chi. Where's that going, right? How are you giving it and receiving it? How are you refueling yourself? What directions are you going in? How are you communicating with other people to get in that direction? How do you feel complete and whole? The world, I already said this. Again, I know some people skip the astrology part. 4 seasons, right? A whole cycle. When we're talking about eclipses, it's looking at the whole next year to the next eclipse, to the next 6 months, to the next month and 2 weeks, because it's still a regular new moon, right? On top of it being an eclipse. It's about cycles. Cycles of that. Cycles of all the things that we talked about. Cycles of emotion, cycles of balance, cycles of direction. Cycles of pushing you out of a boundary. How to not feel the same because of heartbreak, because of pain, because of disappointment. And I'm going to give that to that. Because we feel like we need to overprotect ourselves sometimes, right? We feel like maybe we feel like we don't want to do something because we feel like that's a way of protecting ourselves. But what we're really doing is holding ourselves back and not allowing ourselves to evolve, not allowing ourselves to grow, not allowing ourselves to expand. Direction. Hearthfire here. The Hanged Man. Again, it's knowing about what to sacrifice for the right direction in your life. Not getting hung up on, also because there's that, right? Not getting hung up on one direction. Making sure that you're opening yourself up to multiple directions of seeing more than that. This is, again, the 180 that I was talking about. The 180. The 180. That's what this new moon is going to give us. Knowing how to free yourself, to allow yourself to go in a certain direction. Okay? And not putting yourself in a position where you stop yourself from doing something. The sun. That's talking about stopping yourself from doing something. The 8 of Swords and the Magician. This is limited thinking, okay? This is letting self-doubt and fear stop you from creating, stop you from manifesting. This is also feeling like you don't, I already said that you have tools, you have resources, you have talents, you have things that you can look to, relationships, whatever. This is thinking that you don't. So freeing yourself from that, shining a light on that, right? Accepting abundance and success rather than limitations and restrictions and lack. The World. Ooh, man, I'm just dropping all the cards. Strength. Strength is coming up for the World. A strong sense of understanding of cycles. A strong sense of starting something new. Again, it's a new moon. Setting a new intention. Starting a new journey, but also a strong sense of power and strength when it comes to a sense of belonging, right? Like knowing that this is how you feel. Ooh, hold on, my cat. This is the sense of, okay, my cat might come up in the camera. This is a sense of, this is where I belong. This is my true purpose, my true place, my true sense of direction. Following that inner compass. Son of Pentacles, not forgetting to make a plan. Okay? And then not getting worried or stressed out if the plan fails or the plan doesn't go exactly as planned. This is life, right? Chaos and randomness is life, right? That is something that you know is going to happen. Some random stuff sometimes happens. That's Aquarius. That's an eclipse. That's a square over to Uranus. Random shit. Hold back when you need to hold back. Move forward when you need to move forward. That's what that Son of Pentacles is saying. I hope this helped. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great eclipse. I'll see you in the next one.